Hi, my name is Salman. I'm a financial advisor in Germany, and today I want to talk about the question of how do you find a great financial advisor? In my last video, I talked about the question, do you need a financial advisor, yes or no? And to repeat my answer in a short way, you don't necessarily need one, but there's good reasons to still go for one. And if you decide that you want a financial advisor, what are the points that you need to look out for to find a person that suits you? There's 3 points that are incredibly important from my perspective. And those points are: point number one, personal compatibility; point number two, legal status of the advisor; and point number three, the technical setup. How does the advisory work in detail? I personally believe that this is also the rank order in which you should pay attention to these points. So that goes to say that a personal compatibility that is incredibly great with your financial advisor trumps him having a technical setup that is better. Why? When you are doing financial planning, what you are generally doing, if you're doing it well, is you're looking at your lifetime and your time while you are going to be working, whether it's employed or self-employed or as a business owner. And then you're also going to look at your life if you at some point stop working after working, so retirement. And for most people that I speak to, that means that they're planning ahead probably around 50 years into the future. If you decide that you want a financial advisor and you know that you are planning for the next 50 and potentially more years even, and you choose a person that has the best technical setup, but you feel like that person is tough to speak to and you don't enjoy speaking to them at least once or twice a year, and you don't feel like they're listening to you and your wishes and your needs and they're not catering to them well, then, well, unfortunately, there is a high probability that your results will be worse, even if you have great products, because great products combined with bad behavior are probably going to perform worse than great behavior combined with not so good products. And so, just to, hone on that point, to dig deep on that point, please make sure that when you're choosing a financial advisor that you get along with them and that that person comes across as someone that listens to you actively and tries to find the best solutions for you. Even if maybe on the product side, they might not have the access to the best products, it is still going to be providing you with a higher return in the long run than if you have great products but not, basically a person that is catering to your needs. Point number two is the legal status of your advisor. Well, in Germany, we do have brokers and representatives. Those are basically the two main advisory forms. And the difference legally is that a broker, and that's how it's written in the law, has to represent the client's interests in front of financial institutions, whereas the representative has to represent the companies, the financial institutions' interests in front of the client. And the liability for a broker is on a personal level. So if a broker gives bad advice, he is personally liable for the decisions and the recommendations he gives out, whereas the representative is not. And so if bad advice was given to a client and the client, goes in front of court or basically, claims bad advisory, well, then it is not the representative that is liable, but it is the company that the person is working for. And so all that goes to say, when you're speaking to a broker, by law, that person is asked to represent your interests in front of those financial institutions. And that person is also going to be personally liable. So I mean, this is just the way I do it because I am I am a broker, and the way I interpret these rules and laws is basically relatively simple. It's, well, if I give out bad advice, that might come back to haunt me. So what I want to make sure is, although obviously I also make mistakes, I want to make sure that the advice that I give out is, as great as possible, so that even if in the long run something goes sideways, I at least can look into the mirror and know that I did everything in my power to prevent long-term damage, or to create basically a great financial future for the persons, for the people that I'm responsible for. Yeah. And maybe as a side note, unfortunately, in Germany, when you're talking to financial advisors, 3 out of 4 are representatives that are bound to, the financial institutions that they're representing. Point number 3 is the technical setup. And when I'm talking about a technical setup, what do I mean? I mean, it's a lot of points, and I could basically make more points out of it. But what I'm trying to say is, well, how does the person work? What is the philosophy? Is the person, the financial advisor that you're speaking to, prioritizing premium quality of products? Is the person looking for cheap products, or is the person maybe looking for a balance between the two? And that's an individual decision every person has to make for themselves. Do they want cheap products? Do they want basically the best products, or do they want great products with a great price? And then how does your advisor select for these products? Is he on his own, and does he do his research completely on his own? And then when he does it, what kind of tools does he use, and how does he then guarantee, or how can he make sure that he is going to have the time on his hands to also talk to you well, and then give you great advice at the same time? Or is the person maybe organizing in teams? Does he have access to software? Does he have access to specialists that might have positive effects on the knowledge of the person that you're speaking to? So basically the expertise that the person can access, and also maybe his capacity to advise and to be more available to you also. These are really important points to consider. Well, if you ever come across a financial advisor, ask yourself again those 3 things. Is that person a good fit for me? Is he legally speaking doing his job in a free way where he can look at my interests, or is he legally speaking bound to the interest of the company that he works for? And then how does he actually do his job, and does he do it in a way that sounds good to me personally? Hope this video helps, and looking forward to seeing you next time.